Welcome to the Bougie Black Brother Network. This is Car Wax. I'm Michael, your bougie black brother, and I'm here with my co-host, Sean. What's going on, bro?
What it, son?
So we chilling up in here, and it's time for our music review. We put together two artists, one of my new favorites that I went digging in further to hear how he started and how he is going right now is J.I.D. And the other one is Syre. Am I saying
Syre.
that shit right?
Yeah, that's terrible. It's
What?
Syre.
Syre. Fuck
Like Syre.
Fucking Syre. So, yeah, that's his middle name. So it's like he got two fucking middle names. And one of them is Syre. So, Jaden Smith. But we wanted to put those two together. I wanted to put them together because they're two uniquely artists that just gave me such a different damn flavor. And I know, Sean, what you was doing, you was listening to Syre.
Syre.
Syre. I got a fucking Syre.
Yeah, like the High. That's why it was so special because High's album came out the same day that Syre album came out.
So you got Syre and Syre.
And High and Syre came out. Yeah,
so
exactly the same. Yeah.
Strictly fucking me up. But anyway, yeah, so you've been kind of listening to him a little longer than I have. So let's start with Syre. Syre. Meaning you was listening to him a little over and over as opposed to, I think I've played it about 3 to 4 times, but I've been playing J.I.D for the last 2 to 3 weeks.
Okay.
And then listen to his old DiCaprio. I was listening to that one, that EP that he had, and a couple of joints because he's with who the hell is that group? Spillage Village.
Yeah.
So I was kind of listening to a couple of things from that just to see where he kind of started off. But let's go with Syre. So what was your feel? Because, again, like I told you earlier, and I think we kind of discussed, I was rolling with, okay, here's Will Smith's son. He's a little strange guy, but I wonder what this is going to be like. And when I rolled into it, it just kind of threw me off that I had to continue to listen to it as opposed to this is garbage, let me shut it off and put it back on. What was your take on Syre?
Well, first off, I want to go ahead and start off by saying that he's 19 years old. He's 19 years old. He's the same age that Nas was when Nas dropped Illmatic. So that's a pretty important part of this whole conversation. The second thing I want to say is, to your point, it's Will Smith's son. This is a second generation rapper, whether you like it or not, or whether people see it as that as not. But this is a second generation rapper.
Mm-hmm.
His dad rapped before he started acting. So what his dad wanted to do was his dad wanted to stray him away from rap and only have him strictly doing acting. What happened was, since it's in his bones, since it's in his genes, the creativity, and then his mama, was a real big hip hop head. You know what I'm saying? I mean, she was messing with pop. So for him to kind of go acting and then revert back. For me, it's like Fresh Prince 2.0, to be honest. So when I originally put it in, when I originally heard that the album was coming out, I noticed that it was on Rock Nation, and then I said, okay, the worst that it can sound like is Will Smith when he was younger, like. That's the worst it can sound like. And then I'm starting to think, and then I was thinking, well, Will Smith actually in his time, he was making some pretty good music. Quality to your preference. You know what I'm saying?
Thank you.
You know, so he was making really good music. I wouldn't say really quality music, but he was making really good music for the time. So it was like, okay, that's the least I was expecting from Will Smith's son. You know, so when I popped it in and he gave me the first 4 tracks as one track, because the first 4 tracks is one track, it surprised me. It really surprised me because it was like, okay, that's what's up. You know, I wasn't expecting him to really rap, because if you know who Jada Smith is, Jada Smith doesn't do ordinary stuff. You know, the get down was his part in the get down wasn't an ordinary part. You know,
Right.
about 2 years ago, he was the first young kid to model dresses for this fashion line. I forgot what the fashion line name is, but
Right.
he does these things, and people could criticize him all they want, but people also forget for Spirit Week and for high school events and for their sporting events, people wear dresses. You know, guys wear dresses, you know, and when you're 16, 17, you know, you wear your cheerleading outfits to school at your pep rallies for the events, and you don't want to criticize yourself for that, but yet you see Jaden Smith do it and you automatically criticize him. But I just feel like, so when he dropped this and I heard the first 4 tracks, it was just like, okay, he's following suit. You know, okay, so that's really Jaden. Jaden is really this creative bubble, just creative box of just energy and creativity. So after he put on the track with A$AP Rocky, and I really thought A$AP was going to flow on there with him. Mm-hmm. Instead of flowing on there with him, he had the conversation with him. And I said, that's fucking clever. You know, that's clever as fuck. Then he got into his album. Now, here's another thing that happened with the album. He changed beats so fast on the album because of the short attention span that all the youth has. Again, he's 19 years old. So the short attention span that he has, all of his fan base has. So when you hear in 3 minutes the beat change, and you hear after another 3 minutes, it goes back to the first track or the first beat. And then at the end, it's a whole nother beat. You know, you literally got 2 or 3 beats on one track. Mm-hmm. It shows that, you know, he has a very short attention span. You know what I'm saying? Or it gives you the perception of, okay, here's for all the youth. And I that's why I think it was so important, because he was doing it for the youth. And that's exactly what he said before he really started the album. You know, okay, it's up to you to point hip hop where it's supposed to be. You know, he said something like that, you know, after Blue. After he put Blue out, he's like, okay, you know, this is in your hands now. You are responsible for where hip hop is going to go.
Right.
So, you know, kind of following how he was doing on it, you know, I think that was very important. So I'm listening to it and I'm just like, man, this sounds great. This really sounds great. This sounds very unique. Again, he's 19 years old. Who's the other 19-year-old rapper out here that I know that's actually out there? XXXTentacion. Yep. That was the funny part. The funny part is they both the same age, and they both coming out with rock music. So that made me also sit back like, okay, this is where music is going. This is where hip hop is going. And Syre is at least 10 times better than the 17 and XXXTentacion. But it's not XXXTentacion's fault. You know, he's not on Rock Nation. You know what I'm saying? His daddy, you know, he don't have that natural creative bone that Jaden has. But, you know, listening to the album, man, I was really impressed. And I'm trying to figure out where the sound came from. So I'm listening to it. 2 weeks down the line, I'm just like, what is it? What is it? And then I'm listening to a couple tracks and I'm like, okay, some of these tracks sound like the Gorilla tracks. I know that. You know what I'm saying? Because Gorillaz was my favorite little mixed rock group. So when I'm hearing some of the tracks, I'm just like, oh, okay, I see where you're going. I see the relativity of the rock that you're putting in there with the foundation of hip hop. You know what I'm saying?
Right, right.
So I'm going through it and I'm listening to it and I'm like, rock with the foundation of hip hop. Who does that? And who does that very well? And I'm like, fuck, Kid Cudi. Kid Cudi is probably the only one that has done what Jaden has did at such a massive way and such a quality rate, you know, and I was puzzled and I was just like, how, what is it? And I'm just like, Kid Cudi. Right. So I'm researching, doing some Jaden research, and come to find out, you know, on Icon. On Icon, he says Tycho and Cudi is pretty much the two dudes that inspired his music. You know what I'm saying? And I was just like, okay, great. I hit it on the nail. You know what I'm saying? But when you hear it, you're like, oh, okay. And when you hear it, you know he's giving homage to it because of the relative sound with it. Jada's bringing more rock to the table, but when you really pull the rock out, it's Cudi. You know what I'm saying? When you pull the rock out, it's all Cudi. But he puts the rock in because, you know, that's just Jada, man. You know what I'm saying? He has to bring his extra taste and extra touch to it. So overall, I think the album was amazing. I think the album was actually a masterpiece. I think Roc Nation did an awesome job in the timing of putting the album out. I think they did an awesome job of producing, putting the album together. You know, not just, I'm not even talking about the beats, but the track list and how a 19-year-old tried to put his story together. It wasn't as rich and as fulfilling as Janae, but as a 19-year-old, you see where he's going. You're like, okay, I got you. I like that. I'm interested. You know, he definitely left me interested in what else he's gonna bring to the table. You know, so overall, man, I was highly impressed, mostly because of his age and the quality that he brings. I wish I had beats like that when I was 19 years old. I wish I had beats like that when I was 25 years old. He's giving beats that nobody spits on, you know. So, you know, that really grabbed my attention.
Okay. Wow. Good assessment. So I came at it that I was hoping that he would never be like his dad because his dad was trash. He was a commercial artist, never had anything really good enough to actually truly be hip hop. He was one of the first commercial rappers that come out that was friendly to the white people. So never was a Will Smith fan. Don't see good music from him, saw music from him. There's a lot of people that came out during that era that just wanted to be on radio and said, I'm going to keep it clean so I can be on radio and people will like it. That was him. But his DJ was the shit because that's what kept him relevant in the hip-hop world. Did he have a flow that kept people, you know, tapping their feet and kind of going from, yeah, that was fine. So again, going back to Jaden, I was hoping it would not be anything like his dad. But to what you said, he was an actor at first. So as you've seen him as an actor, if you love Jada, you know, Jada is hip hop. She's that chick that was with hip hop and has done a lot to just say, this is part of my life, and I'm going to always go with that.
As in Jada Pinkett Smith, right?
Jada Pinkett Smith.
Okay.
Not Jaden.
Clarity on that.
Not Jaden.
No, not Jada Kiss.
Yeah.
You know,
oh, not Jada Kiss.
Just getting some clarity on that.
No. We still with his family, and I wasn't going outside of his family. So I'll just say Jada Pinkett Smith from now on. So you be in line. But based on that, I was saying, well, let's see what this kid's going to do because he seems very creative. You've seen him around, like you said, with the dress outfit bullshit on. And in this day and age, you see so much with the millennials are just saying, hey, look, I'm going to be creative. I'm going to wear what the hell I want. Ain't nobody can tell me anything. My friends is gonna be my friends. My girls gonna be my girls. My boys is gonna be my boys. He was one of those cats because you always seen him doing so many different things. So when you introduced this, I was kind of, what's up? Let me listen to it. So on my initial, the BLUE, that was interesting. I was like, damn, beats are pretty different, and I'm not sure what he's saying. And then after the blue, it went into a little more rockish and a little more heavier. And I was like, wow, where's he going? Because this is a lot that he's bringing. So then I had to cut it off and said, I don't understand this. I didn't say it was bad. I didn't say it was really good. I just like, I don't understand it. So I put it back on again. And I realized there's something about how he's rapping and how he's kind of singing and how he's presenting. And I went through it and said, well, it's not bad. And then when the third time I put it on, I was like, this guy, he's more of a poet. He's more of, hey, look, I'm going to put things together to what I feel. I didn't really see a true structure. I saw a structure in his mind and the way he kind of have it as poetic metaphors and similes and things and that. I didn't think there was a true rhyme or reason as he went totally do it. The blue had a purpose. Everything else was this part of my life I'm going to do about this. This is a part of this. I'm going to do this. But it wasn't that structured. But with that said, he made, and I'm looking at a couple of the production, this guy Lito. So I'm really going to go find where this guy came from. It was a mixture of this dude Lito and there's a couple of other producers that's on here.
Omar.
But I was like, damn, these guys are amazing. I love the rock feel of it. And it wasn't a rock feel like really heavy, 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 but it was a real good rock feel. And he played into it so well. And if you listen to the kind of contemporary things that he was talking about, it was part of what he just lived. And he was just creating. So each and every track I felt was a creation. That's why I thought it was more poetic than rap. And when you listen to it in that way, it's new. This isn't, he's not matching what anybody else do it. And like you said, XX Extension gave you a feel of that and go, wow, that was pretty cool. Yeah, he's going on another level. And we had that conversation and said, people are probably going to start doing that, but I don't think they'll do it as good as what he did because he's going to grow from that. Well, Jaden came out and blew that shit away. One, he had amazing production, and he has a way of putting things in so many different perspectives. So he gave you so much. Even if you didn't like some, you liked a lot more. He gave you 17 tracks. That's a lot. But within those tracks, what you said too, he broke it up and said, on the back end, I'm going to give you another whole beat, and I'm going to go into something else as well. He broke a lot of that up, and it was so creative and interesting that you have to give this kid, 19-year-old, to your point, that it was almost like he was preparing for this. It's almost like the family was like, don't go into rap. I got to give you something else before you take off wherever you want to go. And it was almost like, I'm waiting to do this. This is the shit that I do all the time. He was in a series, The Get Down, and you saw who he was right there. You know, he played a young kid finding his sexuality with some gay kids at the gay club, but he was an artist and a poet and all of that. So that reminded me of what he was doing here. I was like, this is that guy. He's painting pictures for you to say nothing is going to be the same. It's all going to be whatever I give you. And if you don't like it, so what? Here's the next thing. And here's the next thing, which was one of the most creative albums that I've really heard all year, creative-wise. You know, I like a lot of other albums. They're hip-hop. This is totally on some other level. And amazingly, to your point, he's a 19-year-old kid. So Yeah, I really, really enjoyed this. I had to take a break because it was you had to follow it. And if you didn't follow it properly, you would get confused. Because I was confused for at least the first play and a half until I said, this is where he's going. And the production was just amazing too.
Now you said he's nothing like his dad, right?
Hmm.
Because you said that Will Smith was actually he was making commercial music and playing into the white crowd with the hip hop, right?
Hmm.
So, do you feel like, or why don't you feel like Jaden isn't playing into the white crowd and being commercial with The Rock and on his direction? Why? What difference is that from his pops?
So the exposure in which both Jalen and Willow has been exposed to is a lot more freedom, a lot more access than Will Smith had. Will Smith was hanging with a couple of the hip hop heads, but he wanted to always keep it clean. I keep it clean. I keep it clean. Yeah, but with Jaden, I saw his growth in different ways in his I don't follow him, but he always showing up somewhere. He was always, whether he had a new hair color or the way he cut his hair or an outfit that he had on or he was on some show or some movie. If that's who he is, he's continued it on with his music. But the character that he is who he is. And then when you put it from that, if that's who Will Smith was before, I still feel the same way. He's garbage. He's just an average rapper who took advantage of the situation. And if that's the case, then more power to you. If you like Will Smith, keep loving him. I'm not telling you not to. I'm just saying no. He's nothing like his dad. He's a very creative, very, very creative kid. And if he continues on here, he's going to be breaking barriers. And I think he's doing that right now, which I think the way he did it had me embrace it a lot more than XXXTentacion. I had to kind of say, yeah, he's going in with the depression and he's singing because that's just a different expression that he did. Jaden right here was like, I do all of that. I'll sing, I'll write, I'll do it all. All of this is me. And I'm just spitting it all out. I just happen to have a damn good production group behind me who put some damn good production with me. So he took advantage of it. And I think that was the smart move. Could be a family move, could be a single his move. But I tell you what, did a damn good move.
Well, Jaden didn't do any cussing on this album either. So I think the only difference from him, his father, and him is his upbringing and the times. But I think he's pretty much using the blueprint of what his dad did, and just you getting and like you said, just using his own creative touch to it. You had also said that he was going a little bit everywhere on the album. Do you feel like at the age of 19 and him having all of these emotions running through, do you think that could have been a reason for that?
No, I think it's back to your point of attention span. At that age, everything is cool. I'm going to try everything. I like this. I like that. I like girls. I want to wear a dress. I want to wear a hat. I want to cut my hair. Hey, I want to try to grow a mustache. Hey, I'm going to ride in these cars. But yet, hey, let me touch this gun because my boy had a gun. There's just things he wanted to try. And because he has the access to be able to do it, he's doing whatever he wants.
Right.
And that's a good thing. There's nothing wrong with that. But he just did it well. There's people who's trying to do that, and they're not doing it well.
Yeah.
But power to them for trying to do something different. I just think he's done it so well. And it could be Rock Nation, to your point of saying, guide this kid, guide this kid. Yeah, he's doing a lot of different things, but guide him to make sure he doesn't go off the rails too far, but keep him within what he needs to. Oh, nope, let's give him this producer because I think what he's trying to do is this. Let's give him this producer. Whoa, too late for that producer. Let's bring this one back because this is. I think they structured them so well that it's an amazing production all the way around. And again, it's of course it's a different era, but I don't think there's no comparison between him and his dad. I think era wise has nothing to do with that. I think his dad was who he was. Yeah, he kind of. He had a couple of niggas in here and back and forth. Not sure if it was all the way no cussing because I really didn't care. But you know, when you have a good production, doesn't matter if you cussing or not. You know, your boy, the basketball player, he didn't have no cussing in it. He had a great album too. He had a very good album, not great. He had a very good album from Portland Trail Blazers.
Yeah, Dame Dollar.
Yeah, so. Come on now. That shouldn't even matter. And I don't think you can kind of say because his dad didn't, he didn't. And everybody forgot that he was like, bitch, you saw my blinker. And they was like, yeah, he did cuss. Yeah, of course he did. You just, the ones that was released wasn't the ones that he was cussing on. It's just smart move, the way he wanted to present himself. And whoever was behind him, he did that. And then when Jada got his hands on him, Jada Pinkett Smith got her hands on him. She structured his career better, and he went toward a whole different way. But back to the Sun, I thought this was just totally amazing. This was an amazing production all the way around, and I was surprised because I didn't know what to expect from him. I just knew he probably wouldn't be like his dad based on, you know, the things that he's done and the way I seen him and the way he was creative with his whole style. His style said this is what he was going to do. But I didn't know until, yep, this is his style. This isn't something he made up all of a sudden. He built to this. This is his style. So with that said, what you rated though?
Oh man, it's rated very high. But it's not the best album of the year. I rated XX Extension an 8. So if I can rate XX Extension 17 to 8, I have to rate this a 9.5.
Whoa. A 9.5, but not the best of the year.
Nah, it's not the best of the year.
But
he gets a 9.5 because of the creativity. Like I told you last time, Rat City album, Rock Nation had a good year. Rock Nation had a really good year. But Rap City, it's Rap City's album first, and then it's Kendrick Lamar's album second. It's you can't beat those two. You can't beat those two albums.
No, you really can't. You really can't. And are you really doing that because he's new? You know
Who,
what I mean?
Jaden?
Yeah.
No, I have. It's an amazing album, man.
So
It's a really great album.
Yeah.
I sat back and only listened to the beats today, and listened to the orchestra that was made. You know, listen to the instruments that they put in there. Listen to how the beat machine was used today. Just today. This was my first time just listening to the beats specifically. And it was amazing, dog. You know, Rock Nation did such a good job with the artist and the timing of the project, man. It was just, it gave Rhapsody enough time to spread her wings. And you forgot about Rock Nation. And then Syre comes out. And it was like, what? Rock Nation got this nigga?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And then it blows your fucking mind. You know, so all credit really goes to Rock Nation this year for those two albums.
Absolutely. I mean, you can't beat that. You can't beat that they're pushing a lot of good people out there. There's a bunch of good people out there. They got T.I. under them, and T.I. got your boys, the Hustle Gang out there. The last minute, they got people hyped, but you moved on. There's just a lot of good people. But, I really enjoyed this album. The Vince Staples didn't get any love, but that album was amazing as well. But, again, this was a really competitive year. So regardless, there's a lot of people that's going to agree on some, and there's a lot of people who's going to have a preference, because I think this is a good year of preference as well as just very good releases.
Volume of work, volume.
Yep.
Everybody was on something or dropped something this year. Everybody at least dropped one thing. Everybody except Nas.
Yep.
So Eminem is dropping something on Friday, which is going to be a disappointment. It's already a disappointment because 2 Chainz was taken off the track.
What?
Yep, 2 Chainz was taken off the whole album.
Shit.
Because my assumptions is 2 Chainz went so hard that it really wasn't basically it wasn't the concept of the album. And when you hear the album, I'm pretty sure you're going to understand, because I hate listening to singles before the album, but they pushed the Beyonce single, and then they pushed this other single, and unfortunately, I'm not impressed. But more than that, 3 of the hottest Libras coming out. Libras run the game. So Lil Wayne is coming out on Christmas. That's the Christmas gift for everybody. That's literally the Christmas gift for everybody.
Okay.
This Friday, I'm sorry. The 15th, Jeezy and Eminem's coming out. And the Jeezy CD is going to sound better than the Eminem CD. Really? And you know why the Jeezy is going to sound better? Because he got better features. He has a track on there with Kendrick and J. Cole.
Damn. Really? Fuck.
So the Jeezy album is going to be fire. You know what I'm saying? And unfortunately, right now, the Eminem album is going to be a disappointment. When you look at the features on there, and you think about what Eminem has done and is going to bring to the table, you're going to question that. And then when you look at the Jeezy track list, you're like, oh, well, Jeezy's going to bring something to the table. And then when you hear Dedication 6 is coming out on Christmas, you're like, wow, that's what I'm talking about. This is a beautiful year. It's a beautiful year, man. A beautiful year in hip-hop, really.
I got you. Yep. So what's making it amazing is because, to your point, everybody says, I got to get out there. And then some people was like, not only I got to get out there more than once. Or I'm going to have to show up on somebody else's album because there's just too much shit coming out, and I don't want to be forgotten.
Man, look, Dave East dropped his album. We said it was mediocre. He dropped the mixtape Karma. That shit was fire. Exactly what the album was supposed to be. So Gucci Mane done dropped 3 albums this year. He finna drop 1 more album before the end of the year. 'Cause 4 albums. That's record. Yeah. That's history.
So you got to. I said it when we was talking about Dave East. Nah, he's going to be like 2 or 3 down. No. The street said, yo, man, what kind of fucking release did you come out with? That's trash. I said the next one, unless he's chasing the money, the next one is going to be what you need to have. And he did.
Well, there is a difference between mixtapes and albums.
But he gave what the street needed to hear. So it didn't matter if it was an album, whatever. Album, hey, that's something that's on a big release. But he had to have something out to be able to say, listen to who I am. So when the album comes out, whether it's good or bad, it doesn't matter. So you're going to buy it or you're not. But then the mixtape will come through, and then you're going to keep going from that. But he had to rectify that album. And if he had to do it, to your point, as a mixtape as opposed to an album, he had to rectify that.
Well, that what he's doing is the Gucci Mane blueprint. We talked about that.
Yeah. No, I totally understand that. But, but to your point, this year is phenomenal, which is kind of different when you hear these award ceremonies that's coming out, and just kind of odd. You know what I mean?
Right.
I think they nominated the right ones, but on the other hand, I'm still looking at, hey, when did you do the cutoff? Because you really left some people out, or you added some people that probably was a little lower level than others. But maybe because we in the South, I'm expecting to see a lot more of the folks down up here in Atlanta than what I saw in the nominations.
We're talking about the Grammys, man. Come on.
Yeah,
I
I
mean,
know.
Macklemore won Rapper of the Year one year, so I'm never, astonished or shocked. I was shocked that Rhapsody even got a nominee. You
Yeah,
know,
so was I.
but for Cardi B doing, I'm not surprised at none of that. It's the Grammys. Come on, man. Do you really expect them to listen to music like we listen to it?
No,
So
but to the other point, they did put some that we actually said good music, gotta respect it.
right.
But they threw a lot of typical shit. To your point, they put typical, but I was surprised to see it. So that's why I got excited. It was like, oh shit, you're actually put Rhapsody. What the fuck? You're actually, you knew Kendrick Lamar is going to be all over that. You just knew that. But I mean, it's just so much on there. They're going to put Jay-Z on there. You know that too. Yeah, I don't even think they should. I'm still saying quality of work, yeah, but overall work, nah, come on, bro. Fall for that
Well, the
shit.
same thing we said. We said I don't care what Eminem comes out with, he's gonna get a 7.
Yeah, yeah.
And to in the Grammys, hey, whatever Jay Z comes out with, we at least got to give him a
He
nomination.
got to get a nomination. Yep, you're right. You're right.
So
So,
yeah, man.
so
Go ahead.
Jaden, I had him at a 9. I definitely had him at a 9,
Okay.
regardless, because maybe because I couldn't go as high as you did because he's new.
Right.
I like to see where he goes, but he gets mad credit because he's the leader. This is his album. This isn't a Rock Nation album. This is Jaden's album. So he has to get the credit. Whoever was behind him, with him,
Right.
or produced him. So I got to give him that credit. Any more than that, I'm gonna wait and see, because if this guy comes out again and Rock Nation said, I got a formula and this kid is great, we're gonna continue with that. Yep, he's somebody to reckon with. So I
I,
gotta give him
I'm
credit.
I'm not. I don't. I'm not comparing him. I'm not comparing him lyrically,
No,
but
no,
but at the time, what Nas did with his album changed the game. And as a 34-year-old looking at this 19-year-old put this quality of music out and then put it out on Rock Nation, could be the pendulum that swings hip hop into the right direction that we've been trying to get it away from the dope, away from the pill popping, away from the lean, and he feels like not only do I sound like I hear it, you hear it, he believes it. He
right.
feels like he can do it.
He lives it.
So that's why he gets that extra 0.5, because he's done something that no one has done. This is literally up there with Lil Uzi, even though this is Jaden's first album. You know what I'm saying? And even though he don't got the clout that Lil Uzi has, but Lil Uzi's older too.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So with Jaden being that age and having that quality of music he putting out, man, that shit is amazing, dog. He's changed the game with this album. Period.
So,
we're just living in the present, and we're not gonna understand it now.
No, I think it is. It's not us. It's everyone. Because is everyone ready for this to be hip hop? I mean, I think if you read around, even with the XX extension, is everyone ready for the shift? I don't know. Because you're going to have New Yorkers that be like, man, that's that bullshit. They will always stay in their lane. You're going to have people down here in the ATL, I mean, in the South right here saying, if it ain't about that trap, this ain't shit. You know what I mean?
I give you a perfect example. I was talking to Chet. I said, Chet, so what you thought about the Syre? He said, you know what? I listened to the whole thing. I said, what you thought about it? He nodded his head. Hey, I can't make the music he makes. I'm not gonna knock him, but you know what? I won't play it in my motherfucking car. I said, you know what? At least you liked it. You know, at least you appreciated the quality of work he brought to the table. He said, yeah.
Right.
He brought something to the table.
Right.
You know, I can't knock the man. I can't even do what he did.
Right.
You know, but you ain't gonna have me here.
You ain't hear that shit bumping out of my car.
I'm not popping that into my car.
Right.
You know,
right.
and I respect that. I respect it because he's seen true art. But it's not his preference.
Right. So again, it's about preference, but when the art changes, it's going to sneak up on a lot of people. Some people just won't change. You know what I mean? Some people won't change. To your point, some people will respect the art and go, yeah, you know, that's I just got to respect it, but that ain't what I'm rolling with. You know, there was a lot of shit that I ain't rolling with, but I respect it. I mean, to the point we always keep talking about, hey, look, some of this music out here is just bogus bullshit, but it's what we play in the strip club. It's what you're gonna bounce to. That's what it's gonna be. If you don't understand that's what it is, then you're just gonna say everything is garbage. But everything has its purpose. But this can be a shift because there's a lot of people who's done small snippets of what he's done as a complete album. There's just small people who done maybe a couple of cuts like this on an album, but he did a complete album that way, which said it can be done.
He's 19, and that's why he was able to do it, because
he don't know any better.
We gave him everything. We gave him everything to use.
Right.
And then with his creative bones of his family members, he was just able to retain all of that and just paint it all on his album. You know what I'm saying? So
right.
He's creative. He is, like you said, it wasn't a Rock Nation album. It was a Jada album.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
But
I think that's what Rock Nation does. He makes sure that their artist is lifted up. They make sure that their artist gets the credit. You know what I'm saying? You're not going to hear Def Jam's artist, blah, blah, blah.
Right,
you know what I'm saying? Because that's not how I heard of Rhapsody.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? I heard of Rhapsody because motherfuckers from South Carolina was talking about her.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I heard about Jaden because the album just happened to drop. You know what I'm saying? So it was like, oh shit, they with Rock Nation?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
That's how it was. You know, so, you know, I like the way they're running business out there.
It's a smart way. It's smart. It's smart business, and they take the chance. With you looking at all the artists that's on there, they take the chance, but they taking a smart gamble. And when you take the smart gamble and let shit go, sometimes it pays off really well. Everything ain't perfect what they have, but I tell you what, they got a lot of heavy hitters. But yeah, I think we went to as far as we could with this. But 9, and you said 9.5, right?
Yes, sir.
So before we get into our next one, we'll take a quick break, and we'll return with Car Wax. Tune in our next episode, part 2, where we'll finish with J.I.D. on the Bougie Black Brother Network.